Okay, today in this Friday's Ag Science class, talking beef breeds again. Today we're going to spotlight the Hereford breed and the Shorthorn breed. We'll start out with the Shorthorn breed, and the Shorthorn breed is really a neat breed to study because unlike other beef breeds, they've got some backgrounds in the dairy industry, and if you look throughout the world, there's still some milking Shorthorns out there. Something really to see. I've never seen an entire herd of milking Shorthorns myself, but on a trip out west one time, I saw a recreation of a prairie farm setting, and they actually had one milking Shorthorn, so that was pretty neat for me. If we look back at the history of the Shorthorn breed though, it definitely goes back and leans heavily towards the dairy industry in Europe. If you look at the color of a Shorthorn typically is a solid red, maybe with a little white on it, or what's known as a roan. This is a really pretty roan cow here, roan colored Shorthorn. They also can be blue roan in color. But again, we want to focus on the fact that they have the potential to be a dual purpose breed, meaning used for two different things. So heavy on the milk production and the maternal characteristics, but also a good beef breed. So if you put those two things together and start to think about how can I use them to enhance the beef breed, the Shorthorn is a good place to stop and take a look. Now if we move on to the Hereford breed, here's another animal all in itself. Again, we've got a breed that's red and white, primarily white on its head and on its underline or through its belly and brisket. As we see here, this Hereford is horned. If we just use the term Hereford, typically we're using a term that describes an animal that has the potential of being horned. Now, up until around the year 2000, the polled Hereford breed was separated from the Hereford breed. They pulled together their resources now, and if you register a polled Hereford, you register it in the same association as a Hereford. But in trips out west, I know if you talk to those cattle guys, you don't want to get those two crossed because the polled Hereford guys are proudly polled Hereford, and the Hereford guys are very proud of their horned Herefords. Something else that I want to note is they are a mothering type breed or maternal breed. These breeds are breeds that focus on low birth weight and high milk production. If you look at Hereford calves, the birth weight tends to be a little lower than some other breeds, but they also are early maturing, meaning they start to show those signs of physical maturity and reproductive maturity earlier in life, if only by just a little. Something else that I want to bring up as we talk about Herefords is this is another white-faced breed. And if you go back in our earlier discussions in the week about pink eye, Herefords tend to be prone to pink eye. And this is because of the light pigmentation around their eyes. So when selecting that Hereford bull, cow, heifer, or bull calf, you need to be careful and check out that pigmentation. The darker the pigmentation, the less likely it is to get pink eye. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen or couldn't happen. It just means that it's less likely. Try to stay away from those Herefords and polled Herefords that are really light in their pigmentation, because come early fall, late summer, you're going to be worrying about doctoring that group of cattle much more for pink eye than maybe your other groups. Now, today is going to be the last day of this week for class. So since next week was slotted to be our spring break, we're going to take a week off from videos. But come the following Monday, we're going to pick back up on videos and beef breeds and try to finish this thing out. Again, we're not going to cover all of these beef breeds because there is a whole list of beef breeds out there for us. But just want to give you a brief overview so that as we begin to talk about and shape our discussion about genetic traits and how it shapes a livestock industry, I want us to make sure we have a good foundation of what these animals actually look like and what they're capable of. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. In addition to our normal class time that we've been having through YouTube and Facebook over the past few days, I wanted to take time to point out our free meals that are being offered here in the county by way of the school system. This is a flyer that was sent to me by our Director of Schools, Vicki Beard, that shows dates and times at which these meals will be served, as well as some locations. So I wanted to share that with you to remind you of what's being offered. These are free breakfasts and lunches provided during spring break beginning on March 23rd for all children between the ages of 0 and 18. Giles County is providing this between the times of 10 and 12 p.m. on the days that are given here. If you look, we've got March 23rd, which is a Monday, Thursday, March 26th, Monday, March 30th, and also April 2nd, which is also a Thursday. Meals will be provided during this time at Elkton Elementary, Minor Hill Elementary, Pulaski Elementary, and Richland Elementary. There's a drive-through lane that we just went through to check out where you can just pull up. You don't have to get out of the car, and there are folks from the school system that will be there to be happy to provide you with a meal. So this is an equal opportunity provider. As far as I know, this does not discriminate on whether or not your child is enrolled in our school system or not. So if you're interested, in need, or just want to help out the county by alleviating some of this need, then come on by and grab some of this food to help your family out during this time of social distancing.